Hello everyone, and welcome to Travelpreneur World. We're doing something special today, having a virtual podcast of dreamers and doers. Today, we have someone who's basically created a niche and developed a niche in the sports tourism and took a niche of golf, which is very unique. And I personally love selling or promoting golf tourism. So it will be an interesting conversation with Madhav. And I've been knowing him since few years, and we do business together as well. And I thought it is a wonderful opportunity to have a conversation with him. So Madhav, welcome to Dreamers and Doers by Travelpreneur World. Lovely to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you for having me on the show. And I must congratulate you on this initiative. I think it's great for the travel industry. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea for people to know what's going on in the travel world and also for people who are still beginning in the travel industry to understand the different nuances and the different levers that are involved in putting together holidays and experiences for people.
So Madhav, just to set a context, you do, you do your golf tourism package across about more than 50 countries.
Yes, we organize golf holidays all around the world. So, I mean, if there is a country or there's a golf course which has access to visitors, etc., then we will cover it. And there are people who want to go and play at different continents, different countries, and we like to think that we can enable any golf experience anywhere in the world.
Okay. So I'll begin with the generic, kind of question to begin the conversation. Sports tourism is booming globally. But what do you think sets apart from the leisure tourism? Because people have started going to events and to sports events hugely. Be it cricket or Wimbledon. So what do you think it sets apart from the leisure tourism, which is already there?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting actually what's happening. The phenomena that is we are seeing and more people doing that. I think it's to do with people's passions. I mean, really, I mean, people believe that they must pursue their passions, and I think sports tourism, which is basically more around spectator sports as opposed to what we do,
Yeah.
is essentially about going and seeing your best, players, your favorite matches in person, in live, and getting those experiences. I think those sort of experiences is what people are after because they want to
Mm.
pursue their passions. And it may not just be about sports, it may be other things as well, like wildlife and photography.
Mm.
So I'm sure you would know that a lot of special interest tours are now becoming more and more popular because people want to do
Mm.
more of that than just do the usual tours. Because as people are getting more exposed to travel, they want to try out different things as well.
True, true. I mean, people are nowadays traveling, I think, for the concerts. India had a big boom with the concert tourism, also people traveling around within India and globally also.
Yeah,
But
you know that Singapore has completely adopted a concert tourism strategy. I mean, and
yeah,
a big time, big time. So,
true.
yeah.
So in terms of sports, as you said, correctly mentioned that when even if they're traveling, for example, if a family is traveling to a London, they choose sports if big events are happening. Like I have seen father-son going to sports events, and especially planning their travel, leisure travel along with this events like a Formula One. So golf, do you think the generation playing together as well because it creates a networking opportunity also, right? When you're going for such events.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about father and son, and I think those
Yeah.
sort of things are pretty common in golf because golf kind of has grown from the older generation to the next generation, although there are a lot of new golfers coming up. So
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity for families to get together and bond over a round of golf. I
Mm.
mean, I know, for example, I know someone who just did a golf trip with his father who's 92 years old, and
Oh.
they played golf together, 9 holes each day in Dubai just recently
Mm.
because he said it'll be a great way to spend time with his dad and who's been golfing all his life. And this one's just a recent golfer. So,
Okay.
obviously opportunities like that are there. And then when you go on to the non-family and the business side, obviously that's another big area in any case.
And from a global perspective,
Yeah.
how do you think that this sports tourism has evolved over the last decade, especially the post-COVID era, or when did you think that this has developed, especially globally?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID has had a huge influence on everything. I think
Mm.
on travel as such. I mean, obviously, during COVID, all travel went completely dead, and I mean, companies like yours, ours, where we were not sure what are we going to do next in life, etc. But
Yeah.
I think what also happened during COVID, and I'm sure this is something that many people would resonate with, is that people started to think that they now got to start living up their experiences once they came out of COVID, and they said they want to travel the world, they want to do what is their bucket list and go and do different things that they wanted to do. So I
True.
think that changed dramatically, and I think that's why there's such a boom in travel. And we keep our fingers crossed that everything runs the way it has been running. But yeah, it is I think more moment of realization, I guess, in everybody's mind. Even for me personally, I'm thinking about the things that I want to do. Let's not wait for them. Let's start doing them as soon as we can. So I think that's kind of reflecting everywhere, and I believe that's the same regardless of what area of travel you are in, whether it's
Mm.
leisure or it's sports or it's other passions. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you talked about the planning and you're pre-planning also for the way ahead. So some of the key trends, if kind of seeing in the sports tourism, where are we heading from here to 5 to 10 years? Say, how are we, positioning ourselves, or how you should be positioning yourself?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously we've kind of established in a previous chat the conversation that sports tourism is there to stay, and people are pursuing passions, and I think that's going to become fairly regular going forward. But
Mm.
I think also what's going to happen is my belief is, and you're already seeing evidence of that, people are going to start looking for even more curated experiences.
Mm.
So people will want specialized things. For example, there are companies already talking about access to players, etc., as part of
Yeah.
the experiences they provide.
True.
So you're
True.
going into the dressing room of the Indian cricket team, or I don't know if that's
Yeah.
possible,
Yeah.
but
No, no, of
maybe
course.
the Australian cricket team, or
With
so things.
IPL, it's already happening. Why
Yeah,
not
the
even?
IPL is already happening, but so things like that, and sitting in a box with an ex-player or ex-champion or something who is taking you through what's happening in the match. So experiences like those are becoming more and more, things how people differentiate themselves with. So, and I think obviously it's great for the sport, it's great for the people, because if they have a passion and they want to pursue it, then there are better and more differentiated ways of doing it. So I think that trend is definitely going to be a bigger and bigger one as we go along.
Because in the real 30 seconds era, I see cricket also evolving in a T10, maybe in a 90 minutes or 2 hours of matches and stuff like that as a
Yeah,
trend.
yeah. I mean, there's only so much television you're going to consume. So you want to go out and get the real experience with other fans around you and spectators around you. Be in that environment, that atmosphere. I
Correct.
myself was in a India Australia Test match at MCG in the Boxing
Mhm.
Test match, and
Okay.
believe me, I mean, I'm a cricket fan all my life, but I haven't experienced anything like that.
True.
So,
Very true. Very true.
yeah.
Now, coming back to your expertise, which is golf tourism. First of all, how did you choose this niche? How did you get into this industry? If you can just tell me, about that, because you were
Yeah, I mean,
you were
what?
you were, you were a
Yeah, so
non-travel guy, right?
yeah, so I mean, there's the three of us actually who started this company, and two of us, my classmate, batchmate from my engineering days, Ajit Mohandas, who's
Okay.
based in Hyderabad,
Okay.
we were on a golf trip ourselves. I mean, we just both of us just started playing the game because we were introduced to it. I was introduced to it when I was working in Southeast Asia, and
Okay.
I was taken to a golf course by some Indian friends after a cricket game got washed out. So we played golf, and I said, "Oh, this is good." And then, I mean, just because we wanted to play more golf, we said, "Okay, let's start up this business," because we thought that after going to Thailand, we realized that there is a lot of things that people in India would like to come and experience out of this. The
Yeah.
golf courses, the quality of the golf courses, the infrastructure to support golf tourism, etc.
Yeah.
So, and we said, I mean, this is something that is not available, especially at that time when we started way back in 2009. So
Mm.
that was clearly the case. So we thought of saying, okay, let's try and put together options for our golfers from India to be
Okay.
able to travel, and that's how this idea was born. So yeah, I mean, and we didn't do any market research or any studies or anything like that. It was just born out of gut and say,
Yeah.
okay, let's try and make this work. I mean, obviously there were a lot of challenges along the way, as you can imagine, but yeah, that is how it started.
And almost what, 15 years in
Yeah,
the.
yeah, 16 years since we've been running this business. Yes.
Great. And what make this golf tourism a unique niche? Because there are a lot of niche in sports as well.
Yeah,
Sports tourism itself is a unique niche.
yeah,
And you say that, because I believe that golf is something which kind of spreads over word of mouth also, because people want to kind of go travel to a tournament, refer somebody, and then probably come to you. So how do you think that such a unique niche in this broader sports tourism, how does it work? Like what kind of uh, things you do?
yeah. And we talked about sports tourism earlier, right? And we said that it's all about people pursuing their passion and saying going and watching their idols in action. But
Yeah,
most of the sports tourism that we refer to today is essentially spectator sport tourism. So you're
correct.
going to watch an event.
Yeah,
Golf is different, right? I
yeah,
mean, golf tourism is about you going and playing. Now, which
correct.
other sport do you go and play outside somewhere else? You don't, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there may be instances where you may go and play, some other game here and there, but golf in that sense has been unique because no two golf courses are the same. Every
Mm,
golf course is different from the other. Every golf course is set up in different conditions. The weather may be different. The
mm,
way the ball rolls in those places will be different. Every hole may be different from each other. So there are so many different aspects to this that makes it interesting. And on the other hand, I mean, people who play the game on a regular basis, they are addicted to the game. So they want more and more opportunity to play game and maybe in more and more
mm,
different places. So
correct.
that's how the golf tourism, I think sets up. I mean, people want to go and play at historical golf courses. Now, imagine if you were to give an opportunity to a young cricketer to go and play at the Lords or to the
Mm,
MCG, but
yeah,
that's not possible. That doesn't happen.
yeah.
Whereas in golf, you can go and play at the old course in St. Andrews because it's a
Mm,
course which is open to public or to
correct,
visitors.
correct,
So those
correct.
sort of opportunity, which makes it unique.
I mean, talking about these unique golf courses, what do you think is the most popular golf destination worldwide, and why do golf flock to these places? Like, why do the people prefer?
Yeah, so I think golf is by virtue of what it is a very traditional and a historical sport, right?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of tradition attached to the game, and
Mm,
by virtue of that, where the game of golf was born is obviously a very very important place for golfers. It's like going to the Mecca of golf. So like
yeah.
St. Andrews, the old course at St. Andrews, where they say supposedly the first round, the time golf was
Okay.
played, that's where people would like to go and play,
Mm,
or for that matter, they want to go and play at a golf course like Pebble Beach, which again very historical, very
mm,
iconic, one of the best golf courses in the world. So people want to go and experience these kind of courses as the most. So like for example, St. Andrews Old Course tee times are sold out sometimes 2 years out. You can't get a
oh.
tee time that far in advance sometimes. I
Mm,
mean, and it was especially the case after COVID, immediately after
yeah.
COVID, when it was
Yeah.
just nothing available.
Correct.
So these destinations, Scotland, Ireland, and some parts of the US are very, very busy and very popular.
Okay. And we've been speaking to the industry leaders, and everybody says that India is going to be the big market for everyone globally also. So how do you see golf tourism evolving in India? Because it's been about 15, 16 years, and you said that the kind of ideation happened from your friends, and you have a presence in India as well. So how do you see India as a market?
Yeah, so India is a market. I mean, it's growing, definitely growing, and with more spending power, people are looking for better and bigger experiences. But golf tourism, in many ways, in our understanding, especially for in the market like India, is a function of how much spare time you have and how much
Mm,
discretionary income you have.
correct.
It's actually golf tourism is the last,
Yeah.
last most, I mean, or say least priority wise is the least important travel, thing that anyone would undertake.
Mm,
But it's a great time to go out with your friends and and go and play different golf courses, like I said, on different places around the world.
mm.
But I think the challenge with India is going to be that, and has been, is that the number of golf courses where people can play today is very limited.
Practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or where they can play. So, like a city like Mumbai, where you and I are both from,
Mm.
has, I mean, now one public golf course in New
Yeah.
Bombay, which is now there, but the
Correct.
other two golf courses which are there are not open to visitors at all, and they're
Yeah.
completely member-driven courses. But so because of that, There's only
Mm.
going to be that much golf that is going to grow. There is talk of more golf courses coming up. So
Correct.
only if there are more golf courses will there be more golfers, and then the market will grow. So to that extent, I feel that the market in India is still going to be limited until,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it will grow, but it's still not going to grow as much as other destinations that there are more golf courses available anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
because I was coming back to that question only that within India, to
yeah,
kind of because the domestic tourism in terms of leisure is booming. People want
yeah,
to travel within India, but
yeah.
there are not much of golf tournaments happening within India for Indians.
Yes.
Reason being that there are not much of kind of good quality where they can probably
Yeah,
practice
it's
and
it's quality of golf courses, also the infrastructure that goes along with it, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if you've had customers who and you have gone on golf holidays,
Mm, mm.
there's a whole infrastructure that supports golf tourism, right? I
Yeah,
mean, the kind of vehicles that you have, for example, if four golfers or eight golfers have to go in one vehicle,
yeah,
what vehicle will they go in India? You don't know because they have to have golf bags as well.
yeah.
Then they have to be in the hotels which are close to the golf courses. But
Correct.
most importantly, I think is that you cannot have a golf destination with just one or two golf courses. You
You
need to have
can't.
at least three or four for it to have variety. Otherwise, why are you going away a long distance on a trip to play just one golf course? Then you may as well play at your home golf course, right?
True.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a country, do you think, I mean, which country do you think is equipped with the best? Because Thailand, of course, I see a lot of tournaments happening and there's a big market. Though I'm sure they're doing something right. They're prepared for the global audience to also come in. And one of the successful, I think, country which has adapted golf tourism for you also, it's a very, very big country which has, good tournaments. So, like that, I'm sure. Which is the country do you think that is upcoming next to matching to maybe a Thailand or something?
Yeah. I mean, I talk more in context of where we are, and I think Thailand is where we are in this particular region. I think Vietnam is just doing very well. And
Mm,
Vietnam has got some really good golf courses and the supporting infrastructure,
yeah,
and they've got three great locations for golf holidays in the south, in the middle, and in the center, and in the north. So all these three locations have got world standard golf courses, and not just one or two like we have here. They've
yeah.
got like 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 15, 20 golf courses in places, and more golf courses developing through the country.
Okay.
So, and the infrastructure to go with it, right? So, great clubhouses, caddies and buggies available for any player who comes on to play, uh, F&B to match everything. So all that is all. I mean, Vietnam has become immensely popular
Okay.
as a destination and is getting even better. Even from India now, a lot
Yeah.
of golfers are now choosing to go to Vietnam as opposed to
Yeah.
Thailand because of the flight connectivity also that is kicked in.
True. 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 And coming back to building a golf tourism company, because as you've been sustaining, I would say, for so long, what do you think? Because I'm sure everything is not as easy as it looks. So,
Yeah.
what do you think is the advantages and the challenges? Because advantage can be that, of course, it's a niche market and you need a lot of experience and trust in kind of getting these people to travel around. But at the same time, I'm sure there are a lot of challenges as well, right? So, what do you think there are biggest hurdles which has come in your way for the last 15 years which you have been running in the company?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest challenge for us because we got into this niche because we were very excited about it, being golfers ourselves and saying, okay, we should take it back to the market in India.
Mm.
But I mean, the market in India is very small, like I said. I mean, just to give you perspective, India, I mean, if I look at the number of golf courses that are around the country and which are let's say, army, non-military courses,
Yeah.
maybe there are about 50 or 60 in
Mm.
courses. And if you look at maybe there are about 500 people who play at these courses on a regular
Mm.
basis. So
Mm.
you're really talking about a market which is about 25 to 30,000 golfers in size,
Mm.
which is going to go on golf holidays.
Yeah.
Now, that's a very small market. I mean,
Mm.
a place like Singapore, where I am based, which is a small country of 4 million people, 5 million people,
Mm.
there are 80,000 to 90,000 golfers.
Oh,
Yeah. And similarly, Indonesia has about 200,000 golfers. Malaysia has 200,000 golfers. Australia, which is 20 million people or 24 million people, has
yeah.
about 800,000 golfers.
Okay.
So, so Korea, which is one of the most upcoming countries as far as golf is concerned, has
Yeah.
7 million golfers.
Oh,
So So we're talking about so that obviously was a big challenge for us, from a not just from our market perspective, but even when we went to our golf courses to partner with, it was for difficult for them to grasp that we will be able to bring so many customers from India.
Yeah.
But we've been fortunate; we've got good relationships with some of the most of the golfers in the country, and they trust us to travel with us. But I
Yeah.
think the break for us has come in moving to Singapore because we are now able to cater to a much bigger market.
Market. Yeah. I was about to ask you that also, that as a global market, what do you think is the highest percentage of golfers going to a destination? Like, which country, because you mentioned Korea having so many golfers, upcoming and existing in the global market.
Yeah.
Which country participates or gives maximum percentage of business to the tournament?
So, I mean, we don't talk on corner that market much because it's obviously a very, very specific sort of market, and it is very language oriented.
Okay.
But the number of golfers going from Korea to other places in Asia, at least, is
Okay.
very, very high, and probably the highest because
Okay.
they've just got so many golfers, and they've
Hmm.
got very few golf courses relative to the number of golfers. They've got only 400 to 500 golf courses in Korea, and then
Hmm.
also it makes the problem is worse because they don't have a very long season for golf because they have
Yeah.
a very long extreme winter. So for
True.
example, right now between January to March, many of the destinations in Thailand and Vietnam, you can't get a tea time because they are fully booked by Korean golfers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true, true. That's and talking about the networking we were discussing on one of the point. So how do you think the corporate segment, because the networking or the top CEOs, meetings which happens, do they prefer a golf tourism or golf tournaments to kind of travel network? Is that also a market for you?
Well, it's not really a market because I don't think it works in that sense. Not especially not for the Indian,
Okay,
MICE or the corporate events,
okay.
because there are not so many people to whom the game appeals at now.
Mm,
Because, like
mm,
I said, the number of golfers is still very few. There are
yeah.
people who play. I mean,
Right.
compared to, let's say, if a company from Singapore or Malaysia was going, there'll be a lot of people who will be interested in
Yeah.
golf. So from
Yes.
that point of view, that appeal is much less in India because people don't know the game yet. But
Mm.
at the same time, we do things like we organize golf clinics and golf lessons,
Yeah.
etc., for people going
Yeah.
on holiday. So those things
Correct.
are because they want to do something different. But it's
Yeah.
not out of a passion or an interest or anything like that.
Because it takes a lot of time to, I mean, time, energy, effort to kind
Yes.
of,
Yes, and it's
learn.
a full day activity. A round of golf is not a so it's very difficult for people to take out time like that. I mean, maybe a 2 or 3 day event to take out one whole day just for golf, right? So it's not an easy one to do. Yeah.
No, I agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. And overall, so as you mentioned that the sports tourism or the golf tourism in particular, we see this generation which is coming up. We call it as Gen Z. Do you think there is an interest for them also to participate and go in such events in general?
Yes, I think definitely. I mean, and that's what COVID, that whole pandemic period did, right? I mean, it got a lot of people to play the game who were not playing before. I mean,
Mm.
the golf as a sport, there was concerns that the sport is really dying, and there are not many new golfers being added to the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But during COVID, I think the sport just exploded, and I
Yeah.
mean, number of new golfers that got added on, whichever country you take it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been really, really good news for the golf industry. Not
Mm.
because of just travel, but because it added golfers during that time. Because in
Correct.
the pandemic, there wasn't that much to do, and a golf course was probably a safer place than anywhere else to be in the pandemic, right? As an activity place.
Yeah.
So in the UK, in the US, many golf courses which were in the red, they were not making money or losing money badly. They came back
Mm.
into being in business because of new people coming and taking up the game, and it
True.
happened as a global phenomena. So I think that's been so. Even though the pandemic kind of robbed us of our business because there was not travel, but what's
Yes.
also happened is added more golfers to the game, and there are more people traveling now because of
And
that.
and do you think or do you see social media playing a role?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, social
Because
media, obviously, yeah, people are seeing that. I mean, there are obviously people who play golf to post on social media, but
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
obviously it has an influence, and the amount of instruction and lessons and session coaching that is available on social media has just got the community and all that even more engaged than it was before.
Mm. Correct.
with the sport and the game itself. And I mean, and it's just not just for golf; it's for any other activity or sport,
True.
right?
In
Yeah,
general, I mean, travel, Vietnam, as you mentioned, I would
yeah,
say as a destination, it got famous only because of Instagram Reels for
yeah.
India, especially.
Yeah, I mean, and also the connectivity, right? I mean, flights
Yeah,
from everywhere. Now we have flights that runs from other places as well,
true,
right?
true, true,
Yeah,
true.
so that's made a huge difference. I mean, now Vietnam, I mean, I lived in Vietnam myself. I
Oh,
can't,
okay.
I mean, in 2004, I was in Vietnam between 2004 to 2007.
Yeah,
And it was very rare for me to spot another Indian on the road. And
correct.
now it's like you see more Indians than you
Now
see.
you have a South Indian restaurant running in Vietnam, you know?
No, not one, not
Not
one,
one, not
not one,
one.
not one.
Excellent. So we'll move to a very interesting segment on this called Rapid Fire. I'll ask you some questions which will benefit our users, I mean, the Travel Pinna community. And I want you to just answer short and sweet. Uh,
Okay, I'll try
on
to.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one is 3 tips for someone looking to start a business in sports tourism.
I think number one, I mean, you must have technology to help you with whatever you do.
Yeah.
Number two, you must have a differentiated offering.
Hmm.
You can't just go and sell the same stuff. You must try
Yeah.
and create a difference with whatever you're offering. And number three, focus ruthlessly and relentlessly on execution and making sure the experience is good because
Yeah.
there are so many things that can go wrong, in a plan, right? So this,
Second
yeah.
one is 3 must-visit golf destinations for golf enthusiastic around the world.
Well, it's everyone's got their own interests, but I would say uh, Scotland or Ireland. I say one of them for sure.
Yeah.
US because it's got some really great golf courses,
Yeah.
and I would say now with the quality of golf that is coming up,
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next one is if someone is considering starting a golf tourism company, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
I mean, you have to look at, you know, have clear and intimate knowledge about the game and not the game itself, but maybe the golf courses, what destinations you're offering, right? I mean, you can't put people on a golf course that you don't know about properly. It's
Mhm.
not a hotel.
Yeah.
It's not a sightseeing activity. It's an intimate experience for the golfer who is going on that. So
True.
it's very nuanced. So you must have that understanding before you go and offer something like that.
Because I feel for the golf tourism, people who, as a client, is more informed than you, who's going to go.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
have that logistic information from your side as
Yes, I
well.
mean, yeah, I mean, I have to, we have to, as a company, be able to guide our customers on which are the best courses to play. Which
Mhm.
course should they play on, considering their ability and all of that. Sometimes you have to tell people, don't play on that golf course because it's
Mhm.
too hard for you. It is very nice, it's
Yeah.
the best, but it's
Yeah.
too hard for you. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and maybe you won't play that well, and you will not have a good time. So things like that are important.
True.
Yeah.
True. 3 key benefits of integrating sports tours into corporate incentive programs.
Well, three is a lot to think of. I would say one. I think
One.
it's just has better appeal for you'll have better engagement to with your employees because
One.
you can do all sorts of things, but offering something that appeals to their passions is something else. Yeah.
And you as an entrepreneur, been there in sports tourism, especially in golf, what do you think is the most rewarding point being in sports tourism?
Yeah, I think we when you operate a business which is up in a niche or on an area where you're passionate about rather than just scale and volumes, etc. I think the most satisfying thing to any of us, whether it's me or anyone who's handling an experience, is the quality of the experience the customer has, and he comes back happy, saying, "Hey, that was a great trip, man. That was awesome." So nothing more rewarding than that.
And how can golf tourism benefit local economies? Like, you said Vietnam is growing. I'm sure it is helping the government, the Vietnam local tourism board
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
So, in the emerging markets, uh, How do you think it will benefit?
Yeah, I think golf tourism is a strategy. It is something that you have to adopt as a strategy and drive it, strongly, which is what Thailand and destinations like Scotland and Ireland and all that have done. The golf tourism is a clear strategy for them, and what that the golfer compared to a leisure traveler
Mm,
spends 2.5 times to 3.5 times as
mm,
much as a leisure traveler
true.
on a golf holiday. He spends
Mm,
on hotels, he spends on F&B, he spends on shopping, he'll buy golf stuff.
yeah.
And then you have the whole ecosystem that you build in because you have caddies who are employed, you have golf staff
Mm,
that is employed, you have, logistics, you have transportation, you have a full ecosystem that develops because of golf tourism. I mean, it's a big thing in these destinations which are promoting golf tourism in Thailand or it's Vietnam or it's Scotland, Spain. There is a full ecosystem around just golf travel.
yeah.
So it, I mean, obviously benefits the economy in a big way, and people's golfers tend to spend more money. I mean, that's
Mm.
when they go
Average,
into a,
yeah.
yeah. So
It's
I
a huge
think, I
investment.
mean, yeah, the benefits are obvious. They're right there for everyone to see. It's a question of how you really position your golf destination. Yeah.
And coming on a lighter side, you've been in the industry for so long. Is there any funny or light-heart moment? Because golfers are, serious guys. I mean, in general, people who travel have seen that, they are very poised. And is there any funny or a light-hearted moment in your experience which you've come across from a client?
Oh, there are several, but I have to be discreet out here.
Don't name them,
So,
just
yeah,
the
so I mean,
general experience.
I have a lot of friends. I don't know if this goes on to a lot of friends who are listening. I'd rather not talk about it. But yeah, there are still some funny ones. I remember once we were uh, you know, uh, in golf, you have the professional golfer who's referred to as a pro, and
Yeah,
an amateur golfer who is referred
yeah,
to as an am or something like
yeah,
that. And you have
yeah,
these pro ams and all. So
yeah.
we were at a golf course, and typically, caddies in Thailand will say they won't do. So one of our group, for four people, four of us were playing. One of them hit a very good shot. So
Yeah.
the caddy says to him to commend him, says,
Yeah.
"You po." So he replies, I am, which is a take on this thing. So that was quite funny, I thought.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and there was another time when I was hitting in golf, we have this club which is called a three wood. I
Yeah.
was hitting that club with a ball, and all I was doing was hitting the tree.
Mm-hmm.
My caddy says to me, "Is that your tree wood? It is hitting the trees all the time." So, but there are lots and lots of
Yeah.
funny stories on a
Yeah.
golf course. Every time you're on a golf course, there's some one or two funny stories all the time, but not for public consumption, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. So I would wrap up on something which personally for you, if you want to plan a golf trip for yourself with your friends because you're a golfer yourself, money and time aside, where would you go and what is that one thing you want to experience there?
Wow. Man, I have a list actually.
Top on
I,
the
I,
list.
we got into this business because we thought we'll do. I mean, both my partner Ajit and I got into this business thinking we'll get to play more golf. That hasn't happened actually the way we wanted it to.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, I would. Yeah, I mean, maybe go to Ireland, maybe
Hmm.
rent a van with and get my favorite set of friends to go with, three others, and just stop by at different places along the coast and play these fabulous historical links golf courses. And then after the round, sit at a small pub, village pub or something, and have a one or two glasses or more of a Guinness after the round. Something like that would be great, I think. Yeah, if
Superb,
I could
superb,
get to do
superb.
that, that'll be nice.
I mean, during this conversation only, I could see the passion, you have for the golf through your words, and I'm sure in the coming years, let your dream get fulfilled with the time and energy you have with you to kind of get this game because there are very few people who are giving this quality and the kind of process you have. I've seen your team working on the same as a client as well. Kudos to that, and I'm sure best of luck in the coming days. And I'm sure that this market will evolve in India also. And I'm sure India will also become a kind of a market which is good for golf tourism. And that's the any niche, I think in India, once it picks up, it grows up. The scale up is too fast.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it
Right.
will
No,
happen.
definitely. I mean, and with post-COVID, we are seeing that people are doing more.
Yeah.
If the numbers are not there, the frequency is definitely there, right? So it's really heartening to see that, and I think it's in a great space. And whether it's golf or any other, I mean, and you brought up a great subject today,
Yeah.
sports tourism and what's
Yeah.
happening around it. I
Yeah.
think it's for everyone to see. And congratulations to you for hosting this show, and also for talking about sports tourism in general, and being giving companies like ours an opportunity to talk about what we do, which is very, very niche
Yeah.
compared to anything else in travel, right? So
And
thank you.
one last thing you want
Yeah.
to speak to our, I mean, tell our community, which is Travelpreneur community, because we're developing this community for the people who is getting into the travel industry or who are in the travel industry already and want to scale up with some new products which you guys are offering also. So anything which you want to just convey to our community, please.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, golf tourism, obviously, what we do is very specialized. But if you are looking at anything in not travel experiences, I think it's going to be vital that you have a clear communication and a process management in place, which is aided by technology. Because without technology, now people are not going to be able to understand what you're offering, and turnaround times are going to be a lot faster.
Yeah.
So I would say ensure technology and ensure your processes and your customer interaction, whatever programs you have are
Yeah.
set up, to the extent that they are smooth and seamless for because customers have a lot of choice nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just have to
True.
ensure that you're always engaging them and keeping them satisfied and happy. Yeah.
Superb, superb. Thank you so much once again, Madhav. Lovely having a conversation with you. And I'm sure this episode will bring in a new kind of perspective on sports tourism and golf tourism in particular. Once again, thank you so much for joining Dreamers and Doers, and looking forward to meet you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Sundar. This has been absolutely fabulous. Have all the best to you in all your ventures, including this show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.